Hi guys, Mike back again with part 3 of Build a Forge World Proteus Land Raider. I have spent quite an enjoyable evening actually, just kind of building up the hull and track sections, well attaching the track halves to the hull itself. Now in the previous video I showed you the instructions that shows you that you should, well they suggest I suppose, in order to attach the track sections to each track half, build the shell made up of 4 components, and then glue each track half to the shell, making a kind of a shell sandwich if you like. I did an approximation of that, didn't quite do it that way around. I opted to glue the shell to a track half and then kind of manipulate it as I went round, and then glue this side on to kind of make it all level. Right, the good news is the good news is that it sits completely flat. There's no rocking, and I've had issues previously, and I can't remember with what, where you build a tracked vehicle, although I haven't actually put the tracks on yet, so that could still to come, but at the moment we're looking promising. There is no wobble, there is no, so the tracks are seated firmly, which is good, or the sides are seated equally. So, I mean, the fit was reasonable, I suppose. I should mention the glue I use. I use a 2-part epoxy, which is made up of a resin and a hardener. You mix them in equal quantities, and with this particular one, it's a 5-minute formula. So, from the time you mix it, you've got approximately 5 minutes to get it laid up and get your components glued together, and then that's it. You can get epoxies in different formulas, so I mean 5 minutes is quick. I think you can get a 3-minute as well actually, but you can get a 7-minute, 12-minute, 15-minute, half an hour. There might be a 45-minute one as well, 2 hours, 3 hours, and longer as well. So I opted to use a 5-minute epoxy, primarily because that's what I've got on hand at the moment, and I'm relatively used to building Forge World kits, and did a lot of dry fitting beforehand and knew how it was going to go together. So, your mileage may vary, and have a bit of an experiment. The key is I mix it in a plastic cup with a wooden stirry stick from a pilfered from McDonald's or the like, and you'll know when the epoxies start to harden, there's an exothermic reaction, which means that the substance gets very hot, and then when you've got your hand clasped around your plastic cup, which I use, those little disposable plastic drinking cups, when you can feel it going hot, you've got seconds before it's actually going to go completely off, and you've got no working time left at all. So you need to be quick. So if you're not used to working with epoxy, have a bit of an experiment and just sort of see before you commit to slapping it all over your resin. Okay, so it went together reasonably. You'll see that I've got some, you'll see the shiny resin in there, which will be fine. Once it's painted, you won't see it. But I wanted to do a bit of gap filling. The good thing about epoxy, rather than the super glue, and Forge World instructions recommend you build this with super glue, which you could, but I like the gap filling properties of epoxy. It dries clear, as you can see. So I was able to, there was a little bit of gappage, little bit, so I just sort of went underneath just to get glue in all the gaps, just to kind of make sure it's absolutely sturdy. And again, you can see it's all shiny, but once it's finished, once it's painted, sorry, you won't see it. I'm going to do a bit of sanding here just to kind of make that a smoother join there, so that will be fine with sanding, and the rest of it's okay. So you can see all up there, not too bad. So yeah, the next sort of sections to go in is there's the exhaust stack that goes in there, which fits nicely. So we're sort of thinking we've got quite a good fit around this model. So I'm pretty happy with that. The track cleanup went very well. So you can see the gates were at the back of these tracks. Don't need to worry, don't need to go absolutely fanatical about cleaning all this up, because it's all going to be hidden by the tracks, which is good. It's a good bit of design from Forge World, because once the tracks are in place and again, having dry fitted the tracks, it looks absolutely fine. So yeah, it's absolutely solid. That is not coming apart, absolutely not. So very pleased with the fit, really. Overall, okay. I mean, there was a little bit of gapping. I mean, the top section was absolutely fine, and I'm figuring, as you're going to see the top bit more, I want the top and the front looking very nice. The underside, maybe not so much because you're hardly going to see it, but I did fill that. I did fill it with epoxy, as you can see, just to kind of fill. I mean, it was a very small gap, to be fair, but it fit quite well at the back, but didn't fit so well at the front. Although it did fit, but I mean the gap was millimeters really. But you know, seeing as I've got the epoxy out, and it kind of, and because it goes off so quick, you can kind of lay it up, and then it will settle. It will settle flat, which is good. So yeah, you just sort of get the flat effect. But yeah, really happy. The rest of the model I'm actually going to just put together with super glue. It's all, I mean, all the structural components are on, and like I say, it's absolutely solid. It's not going anywhere. Very happy with it. So all of the rest of it we'll just super glue on, basically, which is a bonus. So yeah, all these bits. I mean, we need a bit of finagling here. That's kind of a little bit wonky, so you can sort of see. But yeah, anyway, there's a little bit of hot water work to do. Need to straighten out the las cannons, just to, you know, they're not quite right. But there, and possibly a little bit of heat on the tracks just to make sure they butt up very nicely. But I don't envisage any problems at all. I'm really, really happy with this model so far. Like I said, had a very enjoyable evening putting it all together. And yeah, we'll continue. So that's it for this one. I'll catch you on the next one, where tracks will be on and most of the model will be finished. So I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.